Hi, everybody. Welcome to the IC Topic Chat for today. It is actually Friday. Normally, I do these on Thursday. In fact, I did do the session yesterday on Thursday, November 6th, but we had so much kind of pushback on some of my ideas, so I wanted to redo this today and kind of try and represent some of those ideas with this session today because I have a way of doing marketing and I heard some things from our folks that was different. I'm still going to give the same presentation. I'm doing it all over again just for the purposes of this video. I'm doing it all by myself here, but I thought it would be helpful to try this all over again and see how it goes, but try and represent other people's perspectives that I heard back in the conversation, the chat portion of the IC Topic Chat. So here we go. And actually, this funny slide to begin with Don Draper is kind of part of the problem with the presentation that I gave, because I kind of sneer at LinkedIn and a lot of people pushed back on that. So I'm gonna talk about it, and we'll talk a lot about how I go about doing things, but I'll try and represent the feedback that I got yesterday as well. So when we talk about marketing, a lot of times we feel like, well, this, don't we? Just screaming, or we just feel like crying. Because what we've been told over the years is we need to be like this guy from Glengarry Glen Ross. Always be closing, because it's always about sales, sales, sales. But the reality is we're not trying to sell one thing like a used car that, you see a person walk them in and then just like do this closing thing. We're actually trying to create relationships. And that's actually what's so interesting about the work that we do. The reality is the vast majority of our work is done through networking, referrals, strategic alliances, and repeat business. What we effectively need to do is go out and find our people. In previous sessions, I've talked about niche, and so you want to understand who your people are. What are the things that you enjoy doing? What are you good at? And where are there opportunities to support your work? Where's that, hypothetical money piece? And what are you doing to give back to the world? That's the right thing to do. And so if you're focusing on all three or four of those circles, when we look at the Venn diagram, I'm not showing it right now, but if you're thinking about that Venn diagram and you're concentrating your efforts on the things that you are good at, that you enjoy, where there's an opportunity, there's support, there's money, and it's the right thing for the world, if you're focused on that, you go find those people that are also trying to do that. And maybe you can support that function through a program evaluation is what we're talking about mostly here. But how can you support those people? And so what I often do is I spend time connecting with those people, and that's where I found my marketing. And so a good example of sales in the 21st century is this email that I got from a former colleague from a previous project just the other day. And I'll let you read through this. So anyway, so you can see this is an individual who I worked with. We connected immediately. I helped her write other grants that weren't successful. It just kind of sad, but they were really great grants. We did work on one. And then because of just life, she decided to move to a different institution. And 3 years later, it's really literally 3 years because she left and then I haven't heard from her. She is reaching out to me again. We connected on Facebook because, I mean, we had families about the same age. When I was out in New Jersey, we all went to dinner. I know her husband is really into guitars and I'm into drumming. And our children are about the same age. So we just had a lot in common. And so she's effectively the kind of people I'm talking about in the previous slide here. I want you to connect with people that you like in natural and normal ways. And that is how I do my marketing. That's the majority of it. So I often like to think about your consulting practice as a three-legged stool. Obviously, you need to be able to do the evaluation work. That's the key thing. That's our product. And reports, survey design, data analysis, qualitative research, interviews, et cetera, et cetera. We never talk about that here. There's plenty of people who want to talk about evaluation work. At the IC Topic Chats, we talk mostly just about how do you run your business. And those are the administration. We spend a lot of time talking about how do you set your fees, what type of a corporation should you be, or you want to continue to be a sole prop? Those are things that we talk about. And we spend a lot of time talking about. But this session today is particularly about marketing and business development. So I think it's instructive to look at what we found out from previous surveys. We have two surveys that I know of that we've talked about marketing recently. I conducted the 2015 when I was the TIG chair, the 2015 TIG survey, and the TIG leadership did another one in 2022. They had different questions, so I'm going to try and weave these together. First, let's talk about what were the best marketing approaches. And I think you'll see these are the top 5. Doing some pro bono or volunteer work so you can get your kind of name out there and get some experience, getting out and giving presentations, responding to RFPs, soliciting referrals from past clients, and actively soliciting new work from past clients. Those are the top 2 that you'll see. So let's see, when they had a different series of questions phrased differently, they asked, what are some things that you've had success with? And you'll see here, past clients is in the top 2, RFPs is at the top 2. Referrals is also up there. So what do we see here? Let's look at some themes. We see past clients, we see referrals, and we see RFPs, the top 3 things. So that to me that's an indicator. That's what our peers are saying. We had about over 200 respondents to each of these surveys out of about 1,000 people who actively engage within the TIG. So I think we should be paying attention to them. Here's an interesting thing. This next slide blew my mind. So what percentage of new projects you started came directly from each of the following sources? You'll see at the very top, by far, new work from existing clients, 44%. This is the thing that blew my mind. Your firm's own marketing efforts, which includes networking, email marketing, and speaking. Now, I absolutely believe that speaking makes sense, but I'm not really sure how people thought about that word speaking when they read it. But I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a couple slides from now. So this is a pretty quick presentation today. It's only going to take about 10-15 minutes. I want to go into the things that this is the slide that everybody had problems with when we talked in the chat, but I'm going to still give it to you. I'm going to give you my perspective, and then I'm going to tell you what kind of feedback I got. Here's my slightly controversial things to avoid when marketing and networking. Direct mail. Sending letters directly out to people saying, hey, I'm an evaluator, you should check in with me. I did it. I had 0 success. And I kind of knew that this would happen. The feedback I got was there are people who are sending out holiday cards that were kind of cute, and people gave examples of them yesterday. Postcards didn't cost much money. They sent them out to their colleagues, to their clients, and they actually got some feedback that, hey, this is a great way to connect, and they got some work. So I think you got to be careful when you're thinking about direct mail. Probably not blind direct mail, but sending it out to your network of people. That probably makes sense. And I do that actually as well. We send out Christmas cards and holiday cards. Sponsorships. Nobody said that they loved sponsorships. I think you should sponsor things that you like and because you believe in it and because you think it's a good idea and maybe it feels like it's a good connection for you. We certainly do sponsorships within the St. Louis community where we are. Is it going to lead directly to new leads? I'm not really sure. It puts our name out there. It connects us with some people who are trying to do some things within Grant Professionals Association. The Association of Funding Professionals, AFP, and within the Evaluation Association of St. Louis. Those are some different communities that we'll do things to sponsor, but that's because we feel like it's the right thing to do. I don't know if it's going to lead to new work. And if I consider it marketing, it's more just support. Sorry, working outside your niche. Nobody's going to argue with me on this. I think some people like to say they're generalists. I think most people who are generalists are generalists, but I think at a certain point you become really good at something and people continue to ask for more and more work or in some area of what you do. So I suggest you continue to think within your niche, and you can do different things, but I wouldn't, stop working in program evaluation and go off into direct sales for like some sort of pyramid kind of idea. I would stay focused on program evaluation. And for me, it's been education, but we also do some in the areas of community and school-based mental health. But that's because we added on my partner who became active within our practice, and she started doing, that was her specialty, that was her niche. Digital marketing. This was the biggest pushback from our folks. I do very little digital marketing. I connect with some people on LinkedIn. I like some things from time to time. I don't use Twitter or which is now known as X. I know a lot of people do this, and I think that the difference here, and this is the feedback I got from the chat yesterday, was I have longer term contracts. Our average contract is 4.5 years. We have some very short ones, but those are usually with people that we have longer contracts with, just to do kind of a thing here or there. But the folks who use LinkedIn and are active in connecting with communities there are the ones who have shorter contracts. And that's what we kind of resolved yesterday. And so use LinkedIn, use X, use these other kinds of marketing tools. If it feels right for you, if you see that you're getting feedback. But if you're doing it for a while and you're not getting feedback, I would say do what works best for you. It doesn't work for me. At least it hasn't. Maybe we'll change our mind someday. I don't know. Newsletters, another thing, a lot of pushback there. Some people use newsletters. They feel like it keeps them, the phrase is front of mind. I've heard this from several different people. We've had several people present on the IC Topic Chats about newsletters. Goshen doesn't do newsletters. We feel like it's not the best use of our time. I think it's a better use of our time to just connect with our clients because we know that's where our work's going to come from. And finally, blog posts. I think this is another way people stay front of mind. We do blog posts for AEA because we want to contribute back, and we have some ideas that we want to share, but it's not a way to generate leads. And here's the things that I do. I focus on relationship finding and building. So I connect with people whenever we can. When it's possible, we try and see them in person because nothing beats being in person with being in real time, in real life with a person, and connecting with them. Networking karma. This is my phrase. I picked up from a presenter years ago. Can't really attribute it to anybody anymore. So in many ways, it's become my own thing. But it's this idea that if the things that you put out in the world by making yourself invaluable to others, but not keeping score, meaning I don't have any expectation that I'll ever receive anything back from you, helps me, I feel like a good person, right? But at the same time, by doing that, I see dividends come back to me by that networking karma idea. And I've given a whole presentation on that. You can look it up on the YouTube video. I think a lot about what the problems are that are going on, how I can help people. Like, for instance, we have a program from the Department of Defense. They love to get new grants funded in states where they haven't funded anything. They want to fill in all the states on the map, right? And so we're actively working to help get grants funded in Indiana and Michigan for this group. That's a problem for the funding organization. And we know that they're going to give extra points, so they're going to try and make that happen. That problem becomes an opportunity for us to be a program evaluator. And we also reach out. I just had a meeting yesterday where we reach out to people who have never gotten grant funding from that group. We know that they're going to get extra points on their proposal just because they've never gotten a grant from that group, and we know that that's an advantage, and that's a problem for the funding organization that provides an opportunity for us. And we say, hey, we'll help you. If you want to use this as your program evaluators, fine. We're going to do a great job. If you want to work with somebody else, that's fine too. That's the networking karma coming in too, because if I just be a good guy and expect nothing in return, usually something comes back, because we would do a great job because we know a lot about those programs. I stay actively engaged, and I encourage all of our consultants at Goshen to stay actively engaged with their clients. They know what's going on so that when things pop up, we're aware. So we can help them with their current projects, but also, hey, we're actively engaged with the NOISE programs from the National Science Foundation and the STEM programs as well. So how do we know what's going on? Well, we're involved with all that, so we can bring that back to our clients and help them out, but also so we can discover new opportunities around the problem finding idea on the last one. And part of that active engagement is actually going to our clients' conferences. When we get an opportunity to go, that's a chance for us to connect with our clients first and foremost. At a bare minimum, because we don't see them often enough. They're not always located in our community. In fact, particularly with the National Science Foundation, they're rarely involved in our community. And with our Department of Defense grants, they're about a third of them are in our community, and the others are in other parts of the country. So we go to those clients' conferences to first connect with the client. Second, to understand what's going on with the grant, with the grant funding and what the program officers are saying, and to connect with those program officers. And the program officers, trust me, they love to see us there. And particularly since most program evaluators, for reasons I don't understand, don't go to those meetings. Maybe it's just too much trouble to go. But the third reason is because there's a lot of people there saying, hey, why isn't my evaluator here? And look at this great evaluator. And the best way to connect with people in that situation is to present. And so that gives you an opportunity to stand in front of people, look like an expert, talk about things that are wonderful about program evaluation or about projects. And usually we try and involve our clients with us, and we make our clients look good. They can brag about that to their bosses or put it on their CV or whatever. And that's wonderful. Anyway, so finally, I want to thank Laura Keene. This is her presentation when we get together and we talk about it at the pre-conference workshop. She does a wonderful job with it. I used to joke, hey, you need to do marketing because all I do is just hand out coffee cups and don't do anything, but that's not necessarily true. Here's a coffee cup that I've handed out. Anyway, Laura is a wonderful conference presenter on marketing. But hopefully you heard both sides of the argument. You understand where I come from. We don't do much in the way of newsletters or LinkedIn and X and these other things. We prefer to spend most of our time connecting with our people because we know, based upon the survey results, most of your new work is going to come from existing contacts or related to your existing contacts or people who you used to work with a while ago, like the example I showed with that email. But there are plenty of people who use X, who use Twitter. I mean, that X and Twitter are the same thing, and LinkedIn, and use those newsletters, and it works for them. My suggestion to you is do it if it makes sense. If not, maybe you want to spend your time with people directly working connected to them. So, all right. Thanks a lot, everybody. Enjoy your weekend, and I hope to see you at an IC Topic Chat soon. Bye-bye.